Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. This is a video to go over do now number 8 on your Regents review. Don't forget to post all these pages on Google Classroom for me so you get the credit for today. All right, so there's a bunch of different things on here today, so there's not really one main topic. So let's just get started. All right, number 1, the graph of y equals x squared is shown. So that's this one right here. You know, it's your quadratic. This is your parent function because it goes through 0, 0, so parent function. The solid drawing below, write the equation for the graph of the transformation of this function, okay, and that's going to be this dotted one right here, which shifts the function 3 units to the left and 1 unit up. Okay, so basically we want to get the equation for this one right here. So we basically need the vertex, okay? So your vertex is 3 to the left and 1 up, like it said. So that's going to be -3 and 1. And if you remember, when we make this, you want to switch the x sign, but you want to keep the y value, okay? So you can use y or f of x. I'll use f of x to be fancy. Actually, no, I'll use y because they used y up there. So y equals, so it is quadratic, so we start with parentheses. So you have an x. You know, you want to switch it so that a -3, you're going to do +3. You have to have the squared on the outside because it's quadratic, and you keep this sign over there, and that is it. So remember, the inside number is if you move left or right, and then that outside number, that's when you're going to move up or down. That's what that represents. So, all right, number 2, factor completely. So remember, factor completely means usually more than once. Okay, coming twice, 3 times, and usually we start with GCF. So let's look at these. Yep, there's a GCF, and the GCMF is 2. So you're going to pull out a 2 from there. So 10x squared divided by 2 is 5x squared. -8x divided by 2 is -4x. -2 divided by 2 is -1. Okay, so now what we have left over is a tricky try. Remember, you can also do that new way that I taught you, the factoring by grouping, but I'm going to, stick with what I normally teach. Okay, so it's 5x here, 5x here. Drop down the first sign. Negative times a negative is a positive. So now your a term times your c term to get -5. So now you're trying to think of two numbers that multiply to -5, but they have to add to -4 at the same exact time. So it's going to be -5 and +1. Don't forget, with tricky tries, you do have to simplify. Okay, so if you want to use this way, you're more than welcome. If you don't want to use the grouping way, you're more than welcome to use that way as well. Okay, just make sure you simplify. Yes, you show the division when simplifying. No, you do not show the division when you do GCF. All right, moving right along. Number 3, on a 50-point quiz, the dot plot shows the number of points scored by the students in the class. Show the relationship between the mean of the scores and the median of the scores. All right, so we have a dot plot, and we want to know the mean and the median of each one. Between the mean, scores. Okay, so you want to know each one. We know the mean and the median. So I guess we'll just put this right in the calculator. So let's see, these go by 5. So this is 15, this is 25, and that's going to be 45. So the dots are the numbers. I would say probably the easiest way, just put it right in the calculator. So I'll write those notes. So put numbers into L1. And to L1, remember, to do that, you do stat number 1, which is edit, okay, and then go to stat calc 1. Stat calc 1, which I leave is one var stats. Okay, and then that's going to get us the mean and the median. So let's see. So remember, we're going to go stat. Then we're going to go to 1, clear out whatever you have. Okay, you can do this by hand. I'm just going to do this calculator. So 10, 10, 3 15s, 125, 130, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 40s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 45s. No, 3 45s. So 1, 2, 3, and 150. Okay, so now again, it's stat. Move over to calc. And then you want to go to one var stats. So number 1, and this is where all of our information is going to be. And we're going to scroll down. Okay, so maybe I'll put the down so you know it goes down. And we're going to look for our median down here, which is 40. And then back up here, the X bar, that is our mean. Okay, so the X bar again, that's the mean. And that was 31. And then the median was 40. And again, you had to scroll down to see these. So what's the relationship? What's the relationship? I don't know. Well, we have the mean, we have the median, and we'll just say the median is larger, I guess. So the median is larger than the mean. I guess that's all they want. All right, number 4. In a forested area, the number of trees, T, can be expressed as a function of the initial number of trees planted, N, the rate R of increase due to natural seeding, and the number of years, X, since the initial plant of the trees. Okay, so we have this crazy looking function, and then they tell us that N is 10,000, R is 20%, X equals 5. All right, so this actually looks like our exponential growth and decay. They just happen to switch it up and use different letters. So how many trees should be growing after 5 years? So that's important. You know it's going to be our N, or in this case, the X. And we want the nearest integer. So let me just quickly remind you, when we're doing word problems, this is the one that we usually are. A equals P, 1 plus or minus, R to the N. That's for word problems. And then if you are graphing these, it's usually Y equals P, 1 plus or minus R to the X. That's usually for your functional graphs. Okay, so those are the ones that usually we are going to use. But as you know, we've done this in class. They can switch things up if they want to. So plus R to the X. Okay, so let's see what we have. So they're giving us 10,000 for N. They already told us an increase of 20%. And X is going to be 5. All right, so we're going to work on that percent first. So 10,000, 1 plus 0.20 to the 5th. 1 plus 0.20, we'll do that. We get 1.2. Now that makes sense. This number is bigger than 1. That means that shows growth. So that makes sense. So, so means growth because it's bigger than 1. Okay, so put this in the calculator. So let's clear this out. So 10,000 and then 1.2 to the 5th. And it did want nearest integer. That means nearest whole number. So that means whole number. All right, so the 2 does not round this up, right? It's 5 or more. Raise the score, 4 or less, let it rest. So this is less than 5. So this does not get rounded up. So this is approximately 24,883 trees. Okay, number 4 is done. Already on number 5. A function is defined as g of x equals negative x squared minus 2x plus 8. So automatically I look at this, I analyze it, I see a squared, so I know it's parabola. I see a negative, so I know it's going to be a sad face, okay? On the grid, we're going to sketch the graph. We're going to label the x and the y intercepts. We're going to state the coordinates of the vertex, and we're going to say whether the vertex is a max or a min. So we got a lot going on over here, but nothing you guys cannot handle. Okay, so we know for a parabola that we have to show a table. Okay, so x and g of x. And when we do this, we always want to look for the numbers that go. I'm going to turn off my stat plot while I'm here. Okay, so negative x squared minus 2x plus 8. So you want to always graph as much as you can. So ours is from negative 10 to positive 10. So let's go through these numbers. And let's see. Let's go to my window and let's just start from 1 to make my life easier. Okay. By the way, I just did zoom second window, and I changed those both to 1, and that's how I got away from those big numbers, just to let you know. Okay. So let's see. The highest number I can graph is this one right here, negative 5, 7. So let's start there, negative 5, negative 7. And it looks like I can go until, let's see, I could go until, I guess 3, negative 7 is the highest we can go. So we're going to copy everything in between. So it's negative 4, 0, negative 3, 5, negative 2, 8, negative 1, 9, 0, 8, 1, 5, 2, 0, 3, negative 7. Can you notice that symmetry? That matches, that matches, that matches, that matches. And make sure you always have this middle number. And remember what that middle number is called. That is our vertex, okay? All right, so first thing it wants us to do is graph it. X and Y is labeled, number is labeled. So let's just graph. Negative 5, negative 7, negative 4, 0. This is negative 7. Negative 5. 7, negative 3, 5, negative 2, 8, negative 1, 9, and now you'll see it come back over here and curve, 0, 8, 1, 5, right? Everyone's got its matching pair, 2, 0, and 3, negative 7. Okay, now if you notice, there was no constraints given. Okay, so we're going to write arrows because no constraints given. Okay, so make it as curved as possible. Make sure you go throughout the entire graph. Make sure you have those arrows. Oops. All right, and then you want to make sure that you put the equation on the line. All right, so what else does it want? So we did that. Now it wants us to label the x and the y-intercepts. So the x-intercepts, let's switch up these colors. So the x-intercepts are where they cross the x-axis. And make another color. The y-intercepts is where it crosses the y-axis, okay? So x-intercept, this is where it intersects the x-axis. So that's x equals negative 4 and x equals 2. Okay, then we're going to have our y-intercept. So a lot of vocabulary on this. So where it intersects the y-axis, and that's at y equals 8. Okay, so we did this, we did this. So state the coordinates of the vertex. Let's get another color for that. So this is going to be my vertex right here. So the vertex is negative 1, 9. It's that middle number. And this is going to be max or a min. So we're going to say that it is a maximum. Okay, maximum. And you know, I'm going to add one more thing on really quick. Axis of symmetry. If you haven't done this in a while, remember the axis of symmetry is the line that goes right here through the middle. It's this vertical line that goes right smack through your vertex. Okay, so that is going through the x-axis at negative 1. So the equation is x equals negative 1. And this is the same value as vertex. I'll write vertical line that goes through the vertex. That's what I'll write. Okay, so it's got the same x value as the vertex, and it's a vertical line that goes through the vertex. Basically splits the graph in half. And let's just label a couple of things on the graph that we forgot. Let's just label this as x equals negative 4. This is x equals 2. You got your y, and so those are your x-intercepts, your y-intercept up here. Y equals 8. Let's label our vertex over here as negative 1, 9. And let's label this axis of symmetry with its equation as x equals negative 1. All right, first page done. Next page. I know you've been missing this so very much. I know this is your favorite thing in the entire world. So I thought, let's do LES and C. All right, here we go. The total attendance at a school play was 425. The tickets for the students were $250 each, and the regular tickets were $375 each. And the total receipts, that means how much money they made, was $11.25. Now notice I put this in a different color than these. Okay, that's because those are going to be my two separate equations. Remember, I always say this: money plus money equals money. That's my favorite thing to say. And then number plus number equals total number. Okay, so all of these will be used for that equation, and then that will be used for this equation. All right, let's see. You guys should be awesome at this. We've done this so many times. All right, so we're talking about student tickets and regular tickets, and we want to know how many. So make sure you have the number of student tickets sold, and then y, and I just did it because that's the order it came in, y equals the number of regular tickets sold. All right, so now we need our two equations. So we're going to do the number of student tickets. The number of regular tickets is 425. Okay, that was for the yellow. Now let's work on the orange, all about the money. So 250x plus 375y is 1125. All right, so now we're going to do our elimination method. Remember, that's the parentheses, elimination or addition method, they call it. This has a 1, so bring down the 1. This is a 250, and you're going to bring, actually, I make you guys do it this way. Bring up the 250, and then you want to make this one on the bottom negative. You could use the one on the top. It does not really matter, but I want to be consistent with the way I taught it in class. All right, so now we're going to distribute. So that gets us 250x, 250y, and 2.50 times 425 in the calculator is 1062.5. So 1062.5. Now we're going to distribute the negative 1. So you get negative 250x, negative 375y, and a negative 1125. So now you have those additive inverses, right? That's what you need in order to be able to add these together, and they cross out. That's you're eliminating one of the variables. Okay, so add these together in the calculator, you get negative 1.25. Add those together in the calculator, that is a 5, and you get negative 62.5. Now remember, this is real life, okay? This is how many tickets. You cannot sell a negative number of tickets. So if you get a negative number, you did something wrong, you have to redo it. Don't just leave it as negative, okay? That makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, so we got y equals 50, so we'll use our easier equation to figure out what the x is. Okay, so subtract, x equals 375. So I'm just gonna write shouldn't be negative. This is real life, doesn't make sense. All right, so 375 was the students, 50 was the regular. Okay. So there were 375 student tickets sold and 50 regular tickets sold. All right, so most important for this, make sure no variables. Okay, no variables allowed in the LES&C check ever. Okay, so we're going to check the total amount. So we're going to check 375 and 50. That's going to give us 425, and then we're going to check the dollar amount. Okay, so 250 for the regular, and regular is 375 of them. Okay, and that's 937.5. And then we're going to take the 375 and multiply that by 50, and that's going to get us 487.50. Let me just check that because I can't read my own handwriting. 375 times 50, 187. That's not a 4. I think that was right. That's a 187.50. And if I add that to 320, wait, let me check the other one too. 250, 2.5 times 375, 937. Okay, good. Plus 187.50 gets us our 1125. Good. Yay. One done. Next one. Okay, so for this one, I kind of want you to just split it right here because I'm just going to show you really quickly how you could do this one 2 different ways. So I guess I'll extend these. Solution and check. Okay, so put my or right here like I always do. All right, so quick perimeter question. The perimeter of a rectangle is 50 centimeters. The length is 9 centimeters more than the width. Find the length and the width of the rectangle. Okay, so first let's do it with one variable. This comes last in the sentence, so this gets your x. 9 centimeters more for the length, so it's x plus 9. So let x equal the width. And then x plus 9 equals the length. So we have that rectangle. You have your x for your width and x plus 9. Remember, perimeter means you add up all the sides. There are 4 sides. There are 2 widths and there are 2 lengths. So be really careful. And basically, this is the formula that you're using. Remember this formula, guys, learned in 7th grade? So we have 2 of the widths and we have 2 of our lengths, okay? Or for this, you could do x plus 9 plus x plus 9. You could do it that way too. Whichever you prefer, does not matter. Okay, so 2x plus 18, 4x plus 18 equals 50. Subtract. That's going to give me 32. Divide by 4. Okay, so we have x equals 8, and then plug back in here. X plus 9 is 17. So don't forget your units over here, okay? So the width is 8 centimeters. Yep, centimeters. And the length is 17 centimeters. Remember, no variables over here. That's the most important thing. That's for an algebraic check. That's not for a word problem check. Okay, so perimeter is 50. So you can add up 8 plus 8 plus 17 plus 17. And we get 50. And the length is 9 centimeters more than the width. So if I take the width and I add 9 to it, I should get my length, which is what I do. All right, so really quick, I'm going to show you how you could have done this with two variables. So we're going to have, this one is a little bit trickier. This comes first in the sentence. That's why this one gets x. So x is the length and y equals the width. So maybe actually some of you would have liked this way better. So y and x. So we need my two equations. The perimeter. Okay, so I have two lengths, I have two widths, and it's 50. Okay. The length, what was the length? Length was x. So x is my equal sign, 9 centimeters more, remember that, plus the width. What was my width? Y. So that's 9 plus y. Okay, this is going to be a substitution question. We're going to plug this in for x. So it's good. We get to practice the substitution one too. So 2x plus 2y is 50. 2 times 9 plus y plus 2y equals 50. 18 plus 2y plus 2y equals 50. 18 plus 4y equals 50. Subtract 18. It should be the same numbers as above. 32 divided by 4. Y equals 8. Right, so to get the next value, just plug it in here. So 9 plus 8, and x is 17. So we have y equals 8, x equals 17. So x was my length. So the length is 17 centimeters, right? Same thing right there. Y was my width. That looks like a 48, that's just an 8. The width is 8 centimeters. And now we're just going to do our check. So I'm going to show the check this way this time. Instead of just adding them separately, just show it this way, just to show you that you can do it two different ways. So we have two of our lengths. So 2 times 17, that's 34. We have two of our widths, and together that's 50. And then the length is, okay, now remember, if it says more than, you cannot use subtraction. It has to match the words in the question. You have to use plus. So 8 plus 9 is 17. So just to show you, if you ever got this on a Regents, a test, a take home, whatever, you could essentially do it two different ways because it didn't tell you which way you had to. So just do whichever way is more comfortable. So, all right, hopefully do now. Number 8 was not horrible. So make sure, please, that you post this all on Google Classroom so you get credit for it. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. And yeah, that's it. All right, have a great day.